Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and in this video we're looking at the Davosa Argonautic in the Omega Seamaster Professional Divers 300. MSRP for the Davosa is $1,029 and the Omega is $5,900. Both watches are rated to 300 meters water resistance. Both watches do have helium release valves. The Omega Seamaster release valve is a fixed release valve, which is what I'm used to. It's all I've ever known. And well, this one came in for loan, and it has a screw down or screw off or whatever. I don't know. You can screw it and then release it. So a little bit different. I wasn't aware that system existed. But I think you can see why I wanted to compare these two watches. They're, somewhat similar looking. They're both larger watches. Well, at least for me, they're large. This is a 42 millimeter. This is a 43. This one kind of looks a little more like a Planet Ocean. But all I have is the Seamaster. 300 meter water resistant. This one has a ceramic bezel insert. This has a beyond steel bezel insert, so it's a hardened stainless steel. They say it's approaching the hardness of diamond. So I would guess that would be similar scratch resistance to ceramic. I think ceramic's probably a little bit more scratch resistant, but the steel definitely will not shatter on you like the ceramic can if you give it a good hit. So I think the Beyond steel is probably a little bit better than ceramic. So yeah, as I mentioned, they're both rated at 300 meters water resistance. The Davosa has a flat sapphire crystal, which I prefer over the dome crystal on the Omega. The bezel is also a lot easier to turn on the Davosa. You have no issue turning that bezel. Get plenty of grip there. And then the Seamaster, it's well, right now I guess it's not too bad, but sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get a grip on it. The bezel is flush with the case, so the scalloped bezel is not as easy to get the grip on. And there we go, nice and lined up there. So a lume pip, and I believe the bezel is lumed. I forgot, I haven't had this watch in hand in a while. No, just the lume pip. So the lume is something that you'll notice with this watch here. It has the T25 on the dial, so it has the tritium gas dials. So the lume, initial lume on the Omega will blow away the Davosa, but after say 5-6 hours, you'll still be able to see the lume on the Davosa, but you won't on the Seamaster. Well, you'll be able to see it on the Seamaster, but I don't think it'd be as bright as this. This lume will maintain the same brightness for, I believe, 20 years. I don't exactly recall what the half-life is, but it'll last you a long time. Movement in the Omega is much better, of course. It's META certified, so it's really accurate. Actually, I guess it's COSC -4 +6. And this is just your basic Sellita SW200 movement, so it won't be as accurate. Power reserve is not as long either. This has 38 hours of power reserve. The Omega has 55 hours of power reserve at 7 beats per second. This one is 8 beats per second. This is a coaxial movement. I mean, they're both Swiss made, but again, this is about 5 times the price. Actually, it's a little bit more than 5 times the price of the Davosa. So let me know which one of these two watches you would pick, or if you'd pick something different. Ceramic dial, real nice applied indices here. This one does have applied indices as well. These don't seem to be as nice. They are nice tall indices, and then you do have those gas tubes in there. So let's go over the specs of this watch quickly. As I mentioned, it has the tritium lume. It's a 3/16 ounce stainless steel case. It's fully brushed. Screw down signed crown, 300 meters water resistant. We do have male end links. These are solid end links, solid links held in with screw pins. We have a stamped and milled clasp, and then we have the fold over safety clasp here, which is stamped as well. It does have a diver extension, and you see 4 micro adjust holes there, but you can only use 3 of them. If you use the 4th one, the dive extension interferes with the clasp. Seamaster, we have female end links, so it does fold over nicely, but does not have any taper, and that's one reason why I don't like this watch. 20 millimeter all the way down. I would like it to taper from 20 down to 16 would be my ideal. Very heavy duty clasp. We do have the on the fly micro adjust. We also do have a dive extension, so that is nice. That is a nice system there, I will give it that. A very big milled clasp. This portion is milled as well, and dual pushers, so you don't have to mess around with the safety clasp. And then we do have screws on both sides of the bracelet, and then there's a pin in between those screws, so a very secure system. It's relatively easy to size as well. You don't have to worry about the screw pins backing out on you. And then look at that, you can check out that movement. Very good looking movement. There we go. So I do appreciate the fact that you can see this decorated movement. So let's talk about the dimensions. I'll get both on wrist, and then we'll compare the Lume. So on this one we have these male end links 57.5, and then lug to lug is 51. 43 millimeter diameter at the bezel. The bezel does overhang the case just very, very slightly. 13.5 millimeters thick, so it is it's pretty thick. It'd be right about at my max preference for thickness with the watch. With the dive watch, I'll say that 300 meter water resistant, so that explains some of the thickness. 22 millimeter lug width. It does taper down to 20, and that is a 7 millimeter crown. And this watch weighs in at 186 grams versus the 175 on the Seamaster. Again, these are both sized for my wrist, so if you have a larger wrist and need another link, it will of course increase the weight of the watch. I thought this was a heavy watch. This is 10 grams heavier. 10 grams doesn't sound like much, but when you compare them to each other here, you can feel it. That's a little bit more than 5% of differential there in the weight, so it does make a difference. Alright, on to the dimensions of the Seamaster. 49.7 tip to tip here, and with the female end links, that's how it fits on the bracelet as well. 42 millimeter diameter, 13.6 thick, and that is with the domed crystal, so it may look slightly thinner than the Davosa. Yeah, it does. This base, we have this slab-sided case here, and this has a little bit more on the case back, so it doesn't look as thick, but it is actually slightly thicker, 1/10 of a millimeter. It's basically the same thickness. And as I mentioned, 20 millimeter lugs, no taper down to 20. 6.2 millimeter crown, so a smaller crown, which does fit on that mid case there. And then 175 grams, as I already mentioned. So let's put this watch on wrist, and we'll put the other one on wrist, and then we'll check out the Lume. It's a good looking watch. There's some parts of it I really like, and other parts I really dislike. I don't like the helium release valve. I don't like the scalloped bezel. I like the bezel insert itself. I like the dial. I like the applied indices, the nice tall indices. The handset I don't like at all. So, really wish I liked it more. But it's a very nicely made watch, definitely, for sure. High quality watch. Davosa, man, I can feel that 10 grams. And it's a bigger watch too, with the real long lugs. These lugs definitely overhang my wrists. The male end links, I should say, the center portion. I have a 52 millimeter wristband, and again that's 57.5. And then the watch case itself with 51, it's real close to overhanging my wrist. But it's a good looking watch. I'm usually not a fan of the metal color bezel, but I think it looks pretty good on this watch. And then with that extra scratch resistance of the Beyond Steel, it's a nice touch. And then the clasp is not as nice as the Omega, but again, it's Omega is 5 times the price, so this is 1/5 the price, actually less than that. So not too bad for a Swiss-made watch with the tritium dials for the Lume. Data at 3 o'clock. We have the data at 6 o'clock there. So let's check out the Lume. Alright, so on the left we have the Davosa, and on the right the Seamaster. Now the UV light doesn't actually charge the Lume on the Davosa, but you can see it does illuminate it. So it's not even close. I mean, the Seamaster Lume is just blowing away the Davosa. But like I said, after 8 hours, 5 hours, whatever, the Davosa Lume will be brighter than the Seamaster, because the Seamaster Lume doesn't stay lit for forever, or for a year, or even 12 hours like the Davosa will. The Davosa will maintain this same Lume for, I believe the half-life is 20 years. However, the second hand in the Lume Pip and the 3 o'clock do have BGW9 Lume. Alright, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.